Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Robert Redford. Passed away at the age of 89, Robert Redford was an iconic American actor, director, producer, and environmentalist whose influence on cinema and culture spanned over 6 decades. Born Charles Robert Redford Jr. on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, Redford became one of Hollywood's most beloved leading men and was celebrated for his commitment to independent film and environmental causes. Redford achieved worldwide fame with his charismatic performances in classics such as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, where he starred alongside Paul Newman, The Sting, 1973, and All the President's Men, 1976. His boyish charm and rugged good looks made him a natural heartthrob, yet he sought roles with depth and substance. His skill as an actor was recognized with an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor for The Sting. In addition to acting, Redford became a celebrated director, winning the Academy Award for Best Director for Ordinary People, 1980, a poignant family drama that also won Best Picture. His directorial work included acclaimed films like A River Runs Through It, 1992, and Quiz Show, 1994. Redford's legacy extends beyond the screen. He founded the Sundance Institute in 1981, which fosters independent filmmakers and hosts the Sundance Film Festival, the largest independent film festival in the U.S. This initiative greatly influenced the landscape of American cinema by giving a platform to emerging talents and voices outside. The studio system, an ardent environmentalist, Redford settled in Sundance, Utah, and dedicated much of his later life to conservation efforts to protect the natural beauty of the American West. His activism paralleled his artistic vision, advocating for sustainability and respect for nature. Redford remained active as a performer into his 80s, notably starring in The Old Man and the Gun, 2018, which he initially intended to be his final film. However, his passion never waned, and he remained a cultural touchstone until his death on September 16th, 2025. At his home in Sundance, tributes poured in worldwide from colleagues, actors, directors, and environmentalists. Meryl Streep called him one of the lions, and Jane Fonda spoke of their enduring friendship and his deep impact on film and activism. His contribution to cinema, culture, and the planet remains monumental and enduring. Robert Redford is survived by his wife, Sybil Zagars Redford, 2 daughters, and a legacy that will inspire generations of artists and activists. Patricia Pat Crowley. Passed away at the age of 91, Patricia Pat Crowley was a Golden Globe-winning American actress whose glittering career spanned over 6 decades in film and television. Born on September 17, 1933, in Oliphant, Pennsylvania, Crowley became known for her warmth, charm, and versatility, captivating audiences from the 1950s through the 2000s. Crowley's film debut came in 1953 with Forever Female, where she portrayed a vivacious young actress vying for a part against a seasoned star. This role earned her the Golden Globe for New Star of the Year, confirming her as a rising talent. She soon became a popular figure in Hollywood, starring alongside legendary entertainers such as Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, Rosemary Clooney, and Tony Curtis. Among her notable films were Money from Home, 1953, 2 Martin and Lewis comedies, and Key Witness, 1960, where she demonstrated dramatic range. Her transition to television was equally successful. Pat was best known for her role as the suburban mother in the beloved 1960s sitcom Please Don't Eat the Daisies, 1965-1967. In this hit NBC series, she played the loving yet overwhelmed wife and mother, navigating family life with humor and heart. Crowley also appeared in popular shows like Dynasty, where she portrayed Emily Falmont in 10 episodes in 1986, and guest starred in Hawaii Five-0 Columbo, and soap operas including General Hospital and its spin-off Port Charles. Crowley was admired not only for her acting talents, but also for her down-to-earth personality and grace on and off the screen. She was married to the late Ed Hookstraten, a prominent sports and entertainment lawyer, and later married television producer and executive Andy Friendly. Her final screen appearance was in 2012, marking a remarkable career filled with over 100 acting credits. On September 14, 2025, Pat Crowley passed away peacefully in Los Angeles of natural causes, just 2 days short of her 92nd birthday. Her son, John Hook Stratton, confirmed the news and shared heartfelt tributes celebrating her legacy. Patricia Crowley remains a beloved figure in American entertainment history, remembered for her warmth, wit, and enduring contributions to film and television. Polly Holliday. Passed away at the age of 88, Polly Holliday was a celebrated American actress, best known for her Emmy-nominated role as the sassy, gum-chewing waitress Flo on the hit CBS sitcom Alice. Born Polly Dean Holliday on July 10, 1737, in Jasper, Alabama, she became a beloved figure in television history through her charismatic screen presence and memorable catchphrase, "Kiss my grits." Holliday's early passion for acting developed while attending the University of Montevallo in Alabama, where she participated in theater productions. Her talent and dedication led her to New York, where she excelled in stage roles, including a Tony-nominated performance in the Broadway revival of Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Her theatrical background gave her the skill and versatility to shine in both comedic and dramatic roles. Her breakout television role came in 1976 when she joined the cast of Alice, based on Martin Scorsese's film Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. As Flo, she brought humor, wit, and a distinct Southern flair to the character, becoming an instant fan favorite. Flo's cheeky personality, stylish red hair, actually a wig, and memorable one-liners made her a standout on the show, earning Holliday 3 Emmy nominations and 2 Golden Globe Awards. She played Flo until 1980, when she left to star in a short-lived spin-off series, Flo, which followed her character relocating to Texas. Beyond Alice, Holliday's film credits included roles in well-known movies such as Gremlins, The Parent Trap, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Her extensive television work also included guest appearances on The Golden Girls, Home Improvement, and many others, showcasing her ability to adapt to different genres and roles. In her later years, she lived quietly in Manhattan, where she passed away on September 9, 2025, following several years of health issues with pneumonia believed to be the cause. Her death marked the loss of the last surviving principal cast member of Alice, which had brought joy to millions. Polly Holliday is remembered as a trailblazing actress whose vibrant spirit, humor, and warmth touched audiences for decades. Her legacy endures in television history and in the hearts of her many fans. Rick Davies. Passed away at the age of 81. Rick Davies was a co-founder, lead vocalist, keyboardist, and songwriter of the iconic British rock band Supertramp, renowned for hits like Goodbye Stranger, Bloody Well Right, and The Logical Song. Born in 1944 in Swindon, England, Davies was a central creative force behind Supertramp's signature sound, distinguished by his soulful vocals and distinctive playing on the Wurlitzer electric piano. Davies co-founded Supertramp in 1969 after placing an advertisement seeking band members, eventually forging the band alongside Roger Hodgson and others. The group initially struggled but found massive success in the 1970s and 1980s, particularly with their Grammy-winning and multi-platinum selling album Breakfast in America, 1979, which produced globally recognized singles and cemented their place in rock history. Davies wrote or co-wrote some of the band's most enduring songs, including Bloody Well Right and Goodbye Stranger, and was noted for infusing a biting, sometimes world-weary perspective into the band's lyrics and arrangements. The dynamic creative partnership between Davies and Hodgson was instrumental in Supertramp's success. After Hodgson's departure in 1983, Davies continued to lead the band until its disbandment in the late 1980s, later reviving it for performances as recent as 2012. Rick Davies' struggle with multiple myeloma, a form of blood cancer diagnosed more than a decade earlier, ended with his passing on September 6, 2025, at his home in East Hampton, New York. He is survived by his wife, Sue. Tributes from the music community praised his kindness, strength, and everlasting impact on rock music's evolution. His musical contributions and profound influence endure, with his voice and piano work central to Supertramp's timeless appeal. Davies leaves behind a legacy of music that continues to inspire generations worldwide. Giorgio Armani, Passed away at the age of 91, Giorgio Armani was an Italian fashion designer and business icon who revolutionized the fashion industry with his elegant, understated designs and became a symbol of Italian style and sophistication. Born on July 11, 1934 in Piacenza, Italy, Armani built a multi-billion-dollar empire that reshaped menswear, women's wear, and red carpet fashion worldwide. Armani's design philosophy was centered around simplicity and comfort, famously softening the traditional men's suit by eliminating shoulder pads and stiff linings, creating a relaxed silhouette that was both luxurious and approachable. His signature style set a new global standard, empowering women with tailored suits that combined femininity with professionalism during the transformative decades of the 1970s and 1980s. He founded the Armani brand in 1975, which soon expanded into diverse lines including Emporio Armani, Armani Exchange, and Armani Casa, as well as fragrances, cosmetics, and hospitality ventures. Armani was revered for his innovative business acumen, maintaining control of his brand in an industry dominated by conglomerates with an estimated net worth of $12.1 billion at the time of his passing. Throughout his career, Armani dressed numerous Hollywood stars and heads of state, becoming a staple on red carpets and international events. His elegant designs featured in films and were worn by celebrities such as Julia Roberts, who famously wore an Armani men's suit at the 1990 Golden Globes. In June 2025, Armani missed his first Milan Fashion Week show due to health concerns, signaling his declining health. He died peacefully on September 4, 2025, at his home in Milan from liver failure. The Armani Group announced his passing with deep sorrow, praising him as a relentless driving force behind the brand and pledging to protect his legacy. Armani's funeral was held privately, and thousands of people attended a public wake held at the Armani Teatro in Milan. On the day of his funeral, all Armani stores closed in Milan and across the globe as a tribute. His family disclosed in his will an instruction for his heirs to gradually sell a minority stake in the company, setting the stage for a new chapter for the fashion house. Giorgio Armani is remembered as a visionary designer who shaped contemporary fashion through timeless elegance, modern tailoring, and an unwavering commitment to quality and style. His work redefined power dressing, brought Italian fashion to the forefront, and left a lasting influence that continues to inspire the industry today. Loni Anderson. Passed away at the age of 79, Loni Anderson was a celebrated American actress best known for her Emmy and Golden Globe-nominated role as Jennifer Marlowe on the hit CBS sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, which aired from 1978 to 1982. Born Joyce Lonette Anderson on August 5, 1945, Anderson charmed audiences with her blend of wit, beauty, and comedic timing. Becoming an enduring figure in television history, Anderson's acting career spanned over 5 decades and included a wide range of television and film roles. Her portrayal of Jennifer Marlowe, the savvy, confident receptionist who smoothly managed the chaos of a fictional Ohio radio station, earned her widespread acclaim and 3 Golden Globe nominations, as well as 2 Emmy nominations. The character became iconic, known for her glamour and intelligence combined with a playful sense of humor. Beyond WKRP in Cincinnati, Anderson appeared in numerous films, including the 1983 racing comedy Stroker Race, where she starred opposite Burt Reynolds, whom she married in 1988. Their marriage was often in the public eye until their eventual divorce in 1994. Anderson also featured in television shows like Nurses, Empty Nest, and guest starring roles on popular series such as The Bob Newhart Show and Three's Company. Loni Anderson battled metastatic uterine leiomyosarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that spreads rapidly, affecting her health for some time before her death. She passed away on August 3, 2025 in a Los Angeles hospital following a prolonged illness, just 2 days shy of her 80th birthday. Her remains were cremated and buried in Hollywood. Her family expressed deep sorrow at her passing, remembering her as a loving wife, mother, and grandmother. Anderson's legacy as a pioneering television actress and beloved cultural figure continues to resonate with fans who admired both her talent and her charming personality. Michael Kirk Douglas. Michael Kirk Douglas was born on September 25, 1944 in New Brunswick, New Jersey, into what would become one of Hollywood's most prominent acting dynasties. His father, Kirk Douglas was already establishing herself as a formidable force in the film industry, while his mother, Diana Dill, was a British-born actress who had appeared in several films during the 1940s. This unique heritage would profoundly shape Michael's worldview, combining American ambition with British sensibility and European cultural awareness. Growing up as a son of a major Hollywood star presented both extraordinary opportunities and unique challenges for young Michael. The Douglas household was a fascinating intersection of show business glamour and the pressures that came with public scrutiny. Kirk Douglas's rising career meant that the family lived in a world where celebrity was not just a profession but a way of life. Michael witnessed firsthand the demands of the entertainment industry, observing how his father navigated the complex relationships between artistic integrity, commercial success, and public image. The early years of Michael's childhood were marked by his parents' tumultuous relationship. Kirk Douglas was known for his intense personality and demanding nature, traits that served him well in his acting career, but created tension within the family dynamic. Diana Dill, despite her own acting background, often found herself in the challenging position of managing the household while Kirk pursued his increasingly successful career. This tension would eventually lead to their divorce in 1951 when Michael was just 7 years old. The divorce had a profound impact on young Michael's development. Unlike many children of divorce who experience a complete separation from one parent, Michael found himself caught between two different worlds. He would spend time with his father, experiencing the excitement and chaos of Hollywood life, and then return to his mother's more grounded and stable environment. This duality taught him early lessons about adaptability and the importance of maintaining relationships across different circumstances. Kirk Douglas's remarriage to Ann Bidens in 1954 introduced another dynamic into Michael's life. Anne, who was European-born and brought her own sophisticated perspective to the family, became a stabilizing influence. She understood the entertainment industry but also valued education, culture, and personal development beyond the confines of Hollywood. Under her influence, the Douglas household became more internationally minded, with frequent travels and exposure to different cultures and languages. Education was always a priority in the Douglas family, despite the allure of show business. Michael attended Eaglebrook School, a prestigious preparatory school in Massachusetts, where he was encouraged to develop his intellectual curiosity and leadership skills. The environment at Eaglebrook was rigorous and demanding, preparing students for the challenges of higher education and professional life. For Michael, this period was crucial in developing his analytical thinking and communication skills, which would later serve him well in both acting and producing. During his teenage years, Michael began to show interest in the entertainment industry, though not necessarily in acting initially. He was fascinated by the business side of film and would often visit his father's sets. Observing not just the performances but the entire production process, he learned about script development, financing, scheduling, and the countless decisions that go into bringing a story to the screen. This early exposure to the comprehensive nature of film would later influence his decision to become a producer as well as an actor. The relationship between Michael and his father during these formative years was complex and sometimes challenging. Kirk Douglas was a demanding father who expected excellence from his children. He believed in the value of hard work and personal responsibility, often pushing Michael to achieve his best while also ensuring he understood that success in the entertainment industry required more than just talent. It demanded discipline, persistence, and business acumen. Michael's adolescence was also marked by his growing awareness of his own identity, separate from his famous father. While he was proud of Kirk Douglas's achievements and grateful for the opportunities that came with being his son, he also felt the pressure to establish himself as an individual. This internal struggle between leveraging family connections and proving his own worth would become a recurring theme throughout his early career. The cultural atmosphere of the 1950s and early 1960s provided a rich backdrop for Michael's development. This was an era of significant change in American society, with new ideas about youth culture, artistic expression, and social responsibility emerging. Michael came of age during a time when the entertainment industry was also evolving, with television becoming a major force. New approaches to film challenging traditional Hollywood conventions. By the time Michael was ready for college, he had developed a sophisticated understanding of both the creative and business aspects of entertainment. His childhood experiences had taught him valuable lessons about the importance of maintaining authentic relationships, the necessity of hard work, and the complex balance between personal ambition and family loyalty. These foundational experiences would prove invaluable as he embarked on his own journey in the entertainment industry. Michael Douglas's entry into the entertainment industry was neither immediate nor conventional. After graduating from the University of California, Santa Barbara with a degree in drama in 1968, he initially struggled to find his footing in Hollywood despite his famous surname. His early years were marked by small television roles and minor film appearances. But it was his determination to understand every aspect of film ultimately set him apart from other aspiring actors. The breakthrough moment came in 1970 when Douglas took on the role of Inspector Steve Keller in the television series The Streets of San Francisco. This role, which he played opposite Carl Malden for 5 seasons, established him as a serious actor and provided him with the financial stability and industry credibility necessary to pursue more ambitious projects. The series was not just a career milestone, but also a masterclass in television production, as Douglas became increasingly involved in the show's development and began to understand the intricacies of serialized storytelling. However, it was Douglas's transition from actor to producer that truly demonstrated his vision and business acumen. In 1975, he acquired the rights to Ken Kesey's novel, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a project that his father, Kirk, had been unable to bring to fruition. This decision represented a significant risk for the young Douglas, as he invested not only his own money but also his professional reputation in a project that many studios considered uncommercial and controversial. The success of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was nothing short of extraordinary. The film, starring Jack Nicholson and directed by Milos Forman, became a critical and commercial triumph, sweeping the Academy Awards by winning all 5 major categories: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Adapted Screenplay. As producer, Douglas received the Academy Award for Best Picture, establishing him as a major force in Hollywood at the age of just 31. This achievement was particularly significant because it demonstrated that he could succeed on his own merits separate from his father's legacy. The 1980s marked the beginning of Douglas's most successful period as an actor, with a series of films that would define his screen persona and establish him as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. His role as Jack Cololton in Romancing the Stone 1984 showcased his ability to handle action-adventure material while maintaining the charm and wit that audiences found appealing. The film's success led to the sequel, The Jewel of the Nile 1985, further cementing his status as a leading man capable of carrying major studio productions. However, it was his portrayal of Gordon Gekko in Oliver Stone's Wall Street 1987 that became Douglas's most iconic and culturally significant role. Gekko, with his slicked back hair, expensive suits, and ruthless philosophy that greed is good, became a symbol of 1980s excess and corporate culture. Douglas's performance was a masterful blend of charisma and menace, creating a character who was simultaneously repulsive and fascinating. The role earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor and established him as an actor capable of complex, morally ambiguous characters. The preparation for Wall Street demonstrated Douglas's commitment to authenticity and research. He spent months studying real Wall Street traders, learning their language, mannerisms, and psychology. He worked with actual financial professionals to understand the intricacies of corporate takeovers and stock manipulation. This dedication to realism paid off in a performance that was both entertaining and frighteningly believable, contributing to the film's lasting impact on popular culture and its continued relevance in discussions about corporate ethics. Following Wall Street, Douglas continued to choose roles that challenged both himself and audiences. Fatal Attraction, 1987, released the same year as Wall Street, saw him playing Dan Gallagher, a married man whose weekend affair leads to a nightmare of stalking and psychological terror. The film, co-starring Glenn Close, became a cultural phenomenon and sparked widespread discussions about infidelity, mental illness, and gender dynamics. Douglas's performance as the seemingly ordinary man caught in an extraordinary situation was crucial to the film's effectiveness, as audiences needed to both identify with and judge his character's choices. The success of Fatal Attraction was remarkable not just for its box office performance, but also for its cultural impact. The film grossed over $320 million worldwide and became one of the highest-grossing films of the 1980s. More importantly, it demonstrated Douglas's ability to anchor psychological thrillers and his willingness to play flawed, morally compromised characters. This willingness to explore the darker aspects of human nature would become a recurring theme in his career. Basic Instinct, 1992, represented perhaps the most controversial and daring choice of Douglas's career. Directed by Paul Verhoeven and co-starring Sharon Stone, the film was an erotic thriller that pushed boundaries in terms of sexual content and psychological complexity. Douglas played Detective Nick Curran, a troubled police investigator drawn into a web of murder and seduction. The film's explicit content and provocative themes generated significant controversy, but it also became a massive commercial success and further established Douglas as an actor unafraid to take risks. The preparation and filming of Basic Instinct required Douglas to navigate complex, psychological territory and work with material that many actors might have found uncomfortable. His ability to bring depth and believability to a character caught between desire and danger demonstrated his range as a performer. The film's success also reinforced his status as one of the few actors who could successfully carry adult-oriented thrillers in an increasingly youth-focused industry. Throughout the 1990s, Douglas continued to diversify his roles while maintaining his position as a major Hollywood star. Films like Falling Down, 1993 saw him exploring themes of urban alienation and middle-class frustration. Playing William Foster, a man who suffers a psychological breakdown during a traffic jam in Los Angeles, the performance required Douglas to portray a character's gradual descent into violence and madness while maintaining the audience's understanding of his motivations. The American President, 1995, marked a departure into romantic comedy territory with Douglas playing President Andrew Shepard opposite Annette Bening. The film, written by Aaron Sorkin, combined political drama with romantic comedy and showcased Douglas's ability to handle witty dialogue and romantic scenes with equal skill. His portrayal of a widowed president, navigating both political challenges and a new romance, demonstrated his versatility and appeal to broader audiences. As both an actor and producer, Douglas consistently chose projects that combined commercial appeal with intelligent storytelling. His production company, Stonebridge Entertainment, developed films that reflected his interests in complex characters and sophisticated narratives. This dual role as creative, artist, and business executive allowed him to maintain significant control over his career while contributing to the development of meaningful cinema. The most significant and publicly documented health challenge in Michael Douglas's life came in 2010 when he was diagnosed with stage Rev throat cancer. This diagnosis marked a profound turning point not only in his personal life but also in his public persona, as he chose to be remarkably open about his medical journey, using his platform to raise awareness about the disease and its treatment options. The initial symptoms that led to his diagnosis were subtle but persistent. Douglas had been experiencing a sore throat for several months, a symptom that he and his doctors initially attributed to stress, acid reflux, or other common causes. However, when the discomfort persisted and began to affect his ability to swallow, he sought more comprehensive medical evaluation. The diagnosis came as a shock, particularly given that the cancer had already progressed to an advanced stage by the time it was detected. Stage 4 throat cancer is a serious diagnosis with challenging treatment protocols and uncertain outcomes. The medical team assembled to treat Douglas included some of the most renowned oncologists and specialists in the field. The treatment plan was aggressive and comprehensive, involving a combination of chemotherapy and radiation therapy designed to target the cancer while preserving as much normal tissue function as possible. The 8 weeks of treatment that followed were among the most difficult in Douglas's life. The chemotherapy and radiation therapy caused severe side effects that significantly impacted his quality of life. He experienced dramatic weight loss, losing approximately 32 lbs during the treatment period, which left him gaunt and physically weakened. The treatments affected his ability to eat solid foods, requiring him to rely on liquid nutrition through a feeding tube for several months. One of the most challenging aspects of the treatment was the impact on his speech and swallowing abilities. The radiation therapy targeted the area around his throat and tongue, causing inflammation and tissue damage that made basic functions like eating and speaking extremely difficult. Douglas had to work with speech therapists and nutritionists to slowly regain these fundamental abilities. a process that required months of patient rehabilitation. The psychological impact of the cancer diagnosis and treatment was as significant as the physical challenges. Douglas has spoken candidly about the fear and uncertainty that accompanied his medical journey. The possibility of death was very real, and he had to confront his own mortality while simultaneously fighting for his life. This experience brought new perspective to his relationships, his career priorities, and his understanding of what truly mattered in life. Throughout his treatment, Douglas received tremendous support from his family, particularly his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and their children. However, the stress of his illness also placed significant strain on his marriage and family relationships. The physical and emotional demands of cancer treatment, combined with the public scrutiny that accompanied his diagnosis, created challenges that required careful navigation and strong communication within the family unit. Douglas's decision to discuss his cancer publicly was both brave and strategic. By sharing his experience, he helped reduce the stigma often associated with throat cancer and encouraged others facing similar diagnosis to seek treatment and maintain hope. His visibility as a cancer survivor brought attention to the importance of early detection and the advances in cancer treatment that have improved survival rates for many patients. The recovery process extended far beyond the completion of his initial treatment. Douglas had to rebuild his physical strength through careful nutrition and exercise, working with trainers and nutritionists to regain the weight he had lost and restore his energy levels. The process was slow and sometimes frustrating, requiring patience and persistence as his body slowly healed from the aggressive treatments. One of the most significant long-term effects of his cancer treatment was the impact on his voice and speech patterns. While Douglas was ultimately able to return to acting, his voice carries subtle changes that reflect the trauma his throat and vocal cords experienced during treatment. These changes required him to work with vocal coaches and speech therapists to adapt his performance techniques and ensure he could continue his acting career effectively. In later interviews, Douglas controversially suggested that his throat cancer might have been caused by human papillomavirus, HPV, contracted through oral sex. This statement generated significant media attention and scientific discussion about the relationship between HPV and throat cancer. While his comments were sometimes criticized as too personal or inappropriate, they also brought important attention to the connection between certain sexual behaviors and cancer risk, contributing to broader public health awareness. The experience of cancer also influenced Douglas's approach to his career and life choices. He became more selective about his projects, prioritizing roles and opportunities that provided personal fulfillment rather than simply commercial success. The confrontation with mortality brought clarity about his values and goals, leading him to focus more intently on his relationships and personal well-being. Douglas's recovery was considered successful by medical standards, with follow-up examinations showing no evidence of recurring cancer. However, like all cancer survivors, he continues to undergo regular monitoring and screening to ensure the disease has not returned. This ongoing vigilance is a constant reminder of his health journey and the importance of continued medical care. Beyond his personal battle with throat cancer, Douglas has also dealt with other health challenges associated with aging and the physical demands of his career. Like many actors of his generation, he has experienced the typical wear and tear that comes with decades of physical performances and the stress of maintaining a high-profile career in a demanding industry. The cancer experience fundamentally changed Douglas's relationship with his own health and wellness. He became more conscious of diet, exercise, and stress management, working with healthcare professionals to develop lifestyle approaches that would support his recovery and long-term health. This holistic approach to wellness became an important part of his daily routine and personal philosophy. Douglas's openness about his health challenges has made him an inadvertent advocate for cancer awareness and research funding. His willingness to discuss the difficult aspects of his treatment and recovery has provided hope and encouragement to other patients facing similar diagnosis. His platform as a celebrity has been used effectively to promote understanding of cancer treatment and the importance of medical research. Throughout his life, Michael Douglas has faced numerous personal losses that have profoundly shaped his character and perspective. These experiences with grief and loss have added depth to his performances and influenced his approach to both personal relationships and professional choices. The most significant and ongoing challenge has been dealing with his son Cameron's struggles with substance abuse, and legal troubles. Cameron Douglas, Michael's son from his first marriage to Deandra Lucer, has battled drug addiction for much of his adult life. This struggle began in Cameron's teenage years and escalated into serious criminal charges in his 20s. In 2010, the same year Michael was diagnosed with throat cancer, Cameron was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison for drug dealing and possession. The timing of these two crises created an almost unbearable emotional burden for Douglas, who was simultaneously fighting for his own life while watching his son's life spiral out of control. The pain of watching. A child's struggle with addiction is something Michael has described as one of the most difficult experiences a parent can face. Unlike other challenges in life, addiction creates a sense of helplessness because the afflicted person must ultimately choose recovery for themselves. Douglas has spoken candidly about the guilt, frustration, and heartbreak that accompany loving someone with addiction, acknowledging the ways in which family dynamics and generational patterns can contribute to substance abuse problems. Cameron's legal troubles extended beyond his initial conviction with additional charges and sentences that kept him incarcerated for nearly 7 years. During this period, Michael maintained contact with his son while also setting boundaries to protect himself and the rest of the family. The experience taught him difficult lessons about enabling versus supporting and the importance of allowing natural consequences to occur even when they cause tremendous pain to witness. The relationship between Michael and Cameron has been complicated by the pressures of growing up in a famous family, the expectations that come with the Douglas name, and the challenges of establishing individual identity when living in the shadow of celebrated parents and grandparents. Cameron has struggled to find his own path while dealing with the advantages and disadvantages of his family connections, a struggle that has been played out in the public eye due to the family's prominence. In addition to Cameron's struggles, Michael has faced other significant family losses throughout his life. The death of his mother, Diana Dill, in 2015 at the age of 92 marked the loss of a stabilizing influence who had provided continuity throughout his life's many changes. Diana had been a source of wisdom and perspective, someone who understood the entertainment industry, but maintained a grounded approach to life and relationships. Diana's death represented the loss of a connection to Michael's earliest years and to a time when his life was less complicated by fame and fortune. She had been present through his parents' divorce, his father's remarriage, his own career struggles and successes, and his various personal challenges. Her passing marked the end of an era and forced Michael to confront his own mortality and the passage of time in a very personal way. The challenges with Catherine Zeta-Jones's battle with bipolar disorder have also tested the Douglas family's resilience. While Catherine's condition is manageable with proper treatment and support, the diagnosis brought new understanding of mental health challenges and their impact on family dynamics. Michael's response to his wife's mental health needs demonstrated his capacity for loyalty and support during difficult circumstances, the period when Catherine sought treatment for her bipolar disorder coincided with Michael's cancer treatment, creating a perfect storm of health challenges within the family. Both parents were dealing with serious medical issues while trying to maintain stability for their children and protect their privacy from media scrutiny. This experience taught the family about the importance of professional help, open communication, and mutual support during health crisis. Another significant loss in Michael's life was the deterioration of his relationship with his first wife, Deandra Lucer, following their divorce in 2000. While divorce is common, the dissolution of their 23-year marriage was particularly painful because it represented the failure of his longest adult relationship and created complications around custody and financial arrangements that persisted for years. The divorce also meant that Michael had less daily influence over Cameron during crucial developmental years. The financial aspects of the divorce were substantial and contentious, with Deandra receiving a settlement that was reported to be one of the largest in Hollywood history at that time. Beyond the financial implications, the divorce represented a personal failure for someone who had grown up witnessing the challenges of his parents' failed marriage and who had hoped to create a more stable family environment for his own children. Michael has also experienced the loss of longtime friendships and professional relationships as he has aged and as the entertainment industry has changed. The deaths of colleagues and collaborators have been reminders of mortality and the passage of time. These losses have been particularly poignant because they represent connections to different phases of his career and life. making their absence a tangible reminder of how much time has passed. The broader Douglas family has faced its share of tragedies and challenges beyond Michael's immediate experience. His father, Kirk's struggles with aging, including a stroke in 1996 that affected his speech, created new family dynamics and caregiving responsibilities. Watching his father, who had been such a vital and commanding presence, deal with physical limitations was emotionally difficult and forced Michael to assume new roles. Within the family structure, the experience of multiple family health crises occurring simultaneously taught Michael important lessons about prioritizing and managing stress. The combination of his own cancer treatment, Cameron's legal troubles, Catherine's mental health needs, and his father's aging created a situation that required careful time management and emotional resources. These experiences have informed his later approach to family relationships and crisis management. One of the most profound impacts of these various losses and challenges has been Michael's evolving understanding of success and failure. The traditional Hollywood measures of success, box office numbers, awards, critical acclaim, became less important when measured against the health and well-being of family members. This shift in perspective has influenced his choice of projects and his allocation of time and energy between professional and personal commitments. The cumulative effect of these losses has been to deepen Michael's empathy and understanding of human vulnerability. His performances in later films often reflect a man who has experienced significant pain and loss, bringing authenticity to roles that require emotional depth and complexity. The grief and growth that have resulted from these experiences have enhanced his ability to connect with audiences who have faced similar challenges in their own lives.